Welcome to this video on crop yield. But as a starter activity, I would like the viewer or yourself to work out what this catchphrase, what this brain teaser might be. We've got three icons, a camera, a right angle triangle and this water bottle, but I'm more concerned of those three letters. Okay, so we've got less than 10 seconds. Try to work out the biology key word here. Pretty popular word, I'd say. Yes, brilliant, well done. You were probably thinking photosynthesis, and you're spot on. If you don't know, the right angle triangle was in a reference to the word sin. Sin x equals opposite over hypotenuse, but pretty niche maths reference. I digress. So whenever we're talking about photosynthesis, in fact, whenever we're talking about crop yield, you must think photosynthesis. Yield, the idea of a product. You must make links to the whole process of photosynthesis. Okay, so it's just like a mental shortcut. Crop yield, think photosynthesis. Amazing. Now in this slide, we're going to explore photosynthesis, the three sort of major contributors to photosynthesis. The first of which, in the equation, carbon dioxide, CO2. CO2 plus water goes to make our six-figure carbon structure, glucose, and oxygen. Now, carbon dioxide, water, is coupled with a very important electromagnetic wave. Any ideas? Represented by this ray here. Yes, bingo, light. Now light is really important. Can anyone tell me where light is absorbed? It's a green pigment found in a something plast. Yes, spot on. Now a chlorophyll pigment or chlorophyll pigments, they absorb light. Really key. Without light, there'll be no growth. But anyways, carbon dioxide plus water and light helps to produce glucose. Now, you know what really annoys me? When students say the whole goal of photosynthesis is for the plants to make their own food. Now, you're not wrong. That doesn't really sound mark scheme worthy, does it? No. We need to substitute that word food to actual nutrients. And I'm sure the viewer can agree with me. We know a lot of nutrients. We know about proteins, we know lipids, the lot. And what if I told you that glucose actually converted into proteins organically? There's a bunch of processes that essentially happen in the plant for it to convert from glucose to proteins. Okay? Do you need to know? No, but you need to have that appreciation. Glucose also converts into lipids. Thirdly, glucose can convert into what is found in a cell wall. The clue is a successful salesperson aims to do this. Exactly. A successful salesperson can sell you loads. Don't know if that punchline went over anyone's head, but there you go. Glucose can convert into cellulose. It's really key. Have that appreciation. Glucose can also convert into proteins, lipids. There's another one that potatoes have very high contents of. You can use iodine to test for it. Tony, what's the surname of Tony in the Marvel Comics, Iron Man? Exactly, Tony Starch. So we've got starch here as well. Starch is an energy storage molecule, and glucose can convert into starch too. Not to mention, glucose can also be used in respiration. Now, how am I going to draw links to this topic with crop yield? Well, the thing is, when plants grow, their growth is governed by proteins and cellulose and all these other nutrients. So if you increase carbon dioxide levels, increase water levels, increase light intensity, you're going to increase the whole rate of photosynthesis, aren't you? That means you're going to increase glucose production, which in turn and do use that connective, in turn converts into proteins, converts into cellulose, converts into starch, lipids, the lot, and that helps to promote growth. Okay, so photosynthesis should be linked also with this idea of growth. And in a minute we're going to find strategies to improve, let's say, light absorption, so like what sort of fertilizer we could add, and so on and so forth. Let's move on. So greenhouses, they help to maximize CO2 levels, help to maximize water levels, help to maximize light intensity as well, which, as I mentioned in the previous slide, helps to increase photosynthesis, which helps to increase glucose and the lot, cellulose, the lot, proteins, everything. And what happens to yield, which means like the product, that goes up, increases. Fantastic. So you've got greenhouses and polytunnels, essentially the same thing. If you ever drive on the motorway, you might see on your, on your left hand, right hand side, and so on and so forth, you'll see these greenhouses. Now I've got this thermometer, and this is in relation to temperature. Now I asked the viewer, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say the word temperature? Obviously in the context of biology. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Exactly. Enzymes. Now, you see, enzymes, they thrive under an optimum temperature, don't they? So if I got this x-axis over here, this is temperature, and the y-axis could be enzyme rate. Enzymes optimize on a certain temperature. They can perform their role, and people forget that in photosynthesis there's enzymes involved. Like, do you need to know the names of them and the in-betweens? No, not really, but you need to have that appreciation that if you increase the temperature to a certain value, enzymes are going to thrive, they're going to optimize. But if you go beyond it, well, the story's a bit different. So another thing you should synonymize as well with temperature is, if you increase the temperature, enzymes receive a special type of energy, an energy to the point they move a bit more. Can you work that out? What energy transfer is that? Physics, guys? Yes, kinetic energy. So enzymes receive more kinetic energy if you increase the temperature. Now, as a result, there's more, how can I put it, where two vehicles bump into each other. What's that called? It's not a traffic incident, it's called a collision. So enzymes receive more kinetic energy, and there's more enzyme substrate collisions as a consequence. But what happens if the temperature is too much? It exceeds this value over here. What happens to the enzyme, or in particular the active site? Excellent. The enzyme denatures. So when you go beyond a certain value, if it's too hot, of course the plant's going to die. It's going to become destroyed, really, isn't it? You must have that appreciation that enzymes would denature. You know, the active site will no longer be complementary to the substrate. Okay, so that's where we need to control the temperature, and equally the pH as well. So if you control the pH, we're thinking about enzyme activity as well. We're trying to optimize enzyme activity. Amazing. Now we can add fertilizers. We can make the soil improved, essentially. There's loads of types of fertilizers, but you need to make the link with minerals. Now we've got nitrate ions, And nitrate ions, opposite of a day rate, you got nitrate, terrible joke. They promote plant proteins, amino acid productions. Then you also got phosphate ions. Phosphate ions help. What do you think I'm drawing over here? So double helix, yep, DNA. They help with DNA production. Also, they help with ATP production, which was the energy currency of respiration. There's another one as well, which is linked with chlorophyll. If you have a lot of magnesium ions, it helps with chlorophyll production. So you see that green pigment? What did that green pigment do? Yes, spot on. That green pigment, chlorophyll, helps absorb light. So if you have a lot of magnesium ions, that's going to promote chlorophyll production, and that's going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. So in your answer, say increase, 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 you know, until there's a deficiency. Okay, so it helps with chlorophyll production. So you've got nitrate, you've got phosphate, you've got magnesium, and the final one is potassium. And potassium helps to control water balance. So I'll just draw a raindrop over here to represent water. Controls water balance. So it prevents osmosis, essentially. That's where potassium ions come in. So you've got fertilizers, you've got to think minerals, you've got to think nitrates, phosphates, magnesium and potassium. Brilliant. Now we could also add we could also add pesticides. And pesticides obviously kill pests, like your fungicide is going to kill like fungus, of course. If you got herbicides, going to kill different weeds. Insecticides are going to kill insects, aphids for instance. And we're going to explore that in much more detail in a future video. But this is all you need to know for crop yield. But I have a question for you. Crop yields, or crop plants, are often grown in glasshouses where conditions such as temperature, CO2 levels are carefully controlled. This is done in order to get the greatest crop yield. What did I say when I say crop yield? Yes, you must think photosynthesis. Now explain how the following factors could affect crop yield. Increasing the temperature of the glasshouse, and then we've got another 3 marker here, supply a fertilizer to the crop yield. Okay, so think about temperature, think about enzymes. Okay, pause the video, go back and review the content, review your notes. I'm going to go for the answer in the next 5 seconds. Obviously, pause the video. Okay, let's go for the mark scheme. So the mark scheme makes a reference to kinetic energy, enzymes. Obviously, when you increase the temperature, enzymes receive more kinetic energy, and in doing so, you increase the rate of photosynthesis. Okay. Did you mention photosynthesis, anyone, or any link to glucose? Notice how it says ignore food. I despise that. Okay, because at the end of the day, you know, we're IGCSE students. We've got to actually talk about the process in detail. The next one talks about fertilizers, and we're talking about minerals like nitrate, which is important for amino acids, magnesium, which is important for chlorophyll production, phosphate, which is important for ATP and DNA. Brilliant. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you've summarized crop yield. I think if you watch this, probably be less than a 15-minute video. Can't speak there, but it'll be more than enough as a source of revision, this video, if you're revising crop yield only. All the best. I do appreciate a like, comment and subscription, and please promote this as well. Please let your friends know from different schools, and yeah, appreciate it. All the best, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode.